Well, this week, no presidential candidates are set to visit the state yet, but who is scheduled to pay a visit to the Badger State?
Plus, Two Rivers is grappling with the death of 3-year-old Elijah Vu as the fight for justice continues. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Monday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for joining us. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It was a busy one in Madison.
Yes, between the game and all the other activities going on.
Right. It's just one of those, I mean, like this time of year is everybody's like trying to take full advantage of the weather while we've got it because you don't know how long it's going to stick around.
No, I know. Like my husband was talking to me about that like this weekend. He's like, I don't know. Are we ready? And I'm just like, I'm not sure. I hope so.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll knock some sense into you, but you'll be fine. All right, let's check in with Savannah. She's out on the patio this morning. Kind of chilly out there today.
It definitely is on the chillier side. This is the first frost advisory that we've seen as far south as southern Wisconsin. That's not included for the Madison or Dane County area, but our temperatures are still cool enough here where you'll probably want a sweatshirt, jacket, maybe even that coat early this morning. But mainly areas north and especially northwest of Madison, that's where the coolest temperatures are. So patchy frost is definitely possible early this morning the further north that you do go. Wisconsin Dells, Camp Douglas, Lone Rock, all of those areas included in that. Most of our temperatures, at least across Dane County, are holding on to the 40-degree mark. Some of us, though, and most of us even across southern Wisconsin, are actually down to the mid to even upper 30s. Few areas are actually cooler than that. It will be fall-like all day long, so those of you that have been wanting the fall-like weather, that's here. We're only going to see temperatures warm this afternoon, later today in the lower to mid 60s at best. But warmer days, those are ahead. Mid to late week temperatures are going to warm. We'll actually have a couple of summer-like weather and temperatures hanging on. We'll talk about how high temps will go later this week coming up.
All right, Savannah, we'll talk to you then. We just some developing news this morning. Police are searching for a suspect involved in an armed robbery.
That's right. Police say the man robbed Amber Indian Cuisine on University Avenue on Saturday night. They say employees tried to stop the suspect after he took the tip container. Then he told employees he had a gun but never showed one. Police say the suspect left the restaurant and got into a vehicle. Please contact Middleton Police Department with any information.
President Biden is scheduled to visit Wisconsin tomorrow. He plans to stop in Milwaukee to tout his administration's work in job creation and replacing lead pipes. No other details were released about the visit. As soon as we know more, we'll push it out through the Channel 3000 mobile app.
And also in Wisconsin this week, Minnesota's First Lady, Gwen Walz. She'll travel to Madison and Beloit on Wednesday. She's expected to speak about abortion rights and taxes. Walz's Beloit stop is at 10 a.m. and followed by a noon stop in Madison. No exact location has been released, but this is her 6th campaign stop in Wisconsin since her husband joined the Democratic ticket.
Meantime, former President Donald Trump made another trip to the Badger State over the weekend. Our Merrill Hubbard breaks down what it means for Dodge County, a Republican stronghold.
This is former President Trump's 4th campaign stop here in Wisconsin within just the last 9 days.
Wisconsin is probably the toughest of the swing states to win. I don't think so.
Values that Dodge County holds line up with the Republican Party.
Though Trump has made previous visits to more blue-leaning areas such as Dane County, this time he visited a Republican stronghold in the state. In 2020, Trump won 65% of the vote in Dodge County.
There are very few politicians out there that support law enforcement the way that Donald Trump does. Donald Trump is that law and order candidate.
Dale Schmidt is the Dodge County sheriff, and as an elected official, he supports the Republican Party and Trump's campaign.
Best president ever.
Sheriff Schmidt and a squad of officers were highlighted on the big stage, along with Republican Senate challenger candidate Eric Hovde and incumbent Senator Ron Johnson. Throughout his almost 2-hour-long remarks, Trump touched on his typical talking points with a heavy emphasis on crime and law and order. While people in Dodge County voiced their Republican values, Republicans for Harris voiced their values in response to Trump's visit to Juneau.
Donald Trump has pushed me and so many others away from the party that I once believed in. I also agree with Representative Cheney when she said that Donald Trump's willingness to violate the law and Constitution in order to seize power for himself on January 26 showed depravity, and we must never become numb to it.
The latest Marquette Law School poll shows Harris with a 4-point edge, and that's accounting the survey's margin of error. Reporting in Juneau, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And speaking of the Marquette Law School poll, that is considered one of the best polls in the country. But what goes on behind the scenes? This week on For the Record, Ellie La Liberté sat down with poll director Charles Franklin. Not only does he write and revise questions, but he also analyzes the data once it's collected. The poll is ranked as #1 on 538 poll ranking for transparency. Franklin explains what that means and why that's important.
We release the complete questionnaire, not just parts of the questionnaire. You release the results for every question you asked. You release crosstabs, that is the breakdown of the answers by various demographic groups. And you provide a substantial methodology statement that explains how you did the poll, what the margin of error is, what other considerations might go into it.
Franklin says that transparency has always been important from the very beginning.
Well, today marks 1 year since Hamas attacked Israel. Since then, the Anti-Defamation League shows threats to Jews in the U.S. have tripled. U.S.
colleges and universities became a hotspot for protesters demonstrating their support for Palestinians. And our Michelle Renee Quinn is here to show us how the war has influenced higher education. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, while U.S. college protests were overwhelmingly peaceful, several clashed with law enforcement and were violent. Some schools have been adopting rules to limit protests, which in turn limit students' freedom of speech. Data from the Anti-Defamation League shows at least 1,200 anti-Semitic incidents occurred on U.S. college campuses over the past year. That's a 500% spike from the previous year, with more than 150 incidents of physical assault and nearly 10,000 acts of vandalism and written or verbal harassment. In May this year, 12 students were arrested from the UW-Madison campus following encampment protests. Police confiscated the tents as well as students' belongings in attempts to take down the encampment. Now, 2 students are under investigation and could face disciplinary action. Universities across the nation have implemented regulations to avoid the protests that began sweeping their campuses. The American Association of University Professors condemns the policies, saying they're overly restrictive. The policies discourage free expression with limitations on where and how long students can protest, what sound and signage they can have, and banning encampments. While not all Palestinians are Muslim and not all Israelis are Jewish, the Israel-Hamas war has automatically looped in those religious communities for better or worse. Both sides agree that ending the conflict is the only way forward.
All right, Michelle Renee, thank you for that breakdown. 6:07 this morning, the investigation into what happened to Elijah Vu continues. It's been nearly 3 weeks since police found the 3-year-old's remains. It comes 6 months after he was reported missing. It's been a lengthy and emotional search. The investigation is far from over.
I would say on a whole, the department, there's a sense of it's sadness but relief. It's obviously not the outcome we wanted, but it does bring closure to finally finding Elijah. And now it just comes the part of talking about what happened and improving what happened.
Two Rivers Police didn't speak specifically on the ongoing investigation. They are determined, though, they say, to find justice. Meantime, the status of Jesse Vang's case will be reviewed on November 6th. He is charged with neglect along with the child's mother.
Switching gears now, let's check in with Savannah Brito. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Temperature is definitely a lot cooler than what we had just yesterday morning. 20 degrees cooler at the Madison airport. We'll talk about how long this temperature change and pattern is going to stick around.
And it's your final month to flock to State. We're live on State Street in the 608 this morning with what comes next for the pedestrian mall experiment. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
When it's time for better storage, Dakota Closets is the solution. Menards carries a great selection of closets that are perfect for any space. For home offices, laundry rooms, standard closets, and even storage for your kids' playrooms. There are so many ways to store your items. And with Dakota Closets, you can do it with style and ease. Right now, get this Dakota Closet system for $839.98 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This shouldn't take too long, should it?
Oh no, I'll have your unit up and running in a jiffy. Oh, sorry, I have to go to the shop and get another part. Sorry, I don't have that part either. Sorry, I don't have that part either.
But you said it would be quick.
At Cardinal, we respect your time as much as you do. That's why our technicians come prepared with fully stocked trucks, ready to handle most issues in just one visit. Discover the difference. Call Cardinal.
President Trump, you have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act.
If we come up with something, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it.
You still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. There are concepts and options we have to do that.
You have no plan. When Donald Trump was president, he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was like? We, over the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, and now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. We have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back here at 6:12 on your Monday. Florida is starting to prepare for what could be its largest evacuation effort since 2017. More than 15 million people are under flood watches this morning for the next hurricane set to hit the state. CNN's Amy Kiley reports.
I have the state emergency response team preparing for the largest evacuation that we have seen, most likely since 2017 Hurricane Irma.
Floridians are bracing for the second major hurricane in less than 2 weeks. Forecasters predict Milton will make landfall Wednesday and then plow across most of the state. Officials are issuing both mandatory and voluntary evacuation orders for at-risk areas.
I urge Floridians to finalize your storm preparations now, enact your plan. I highly encourage you to evacuate.
The National Hurricane Center warns flooding could threaten millions of residents. Some are preparing with sandbags.
We got kind of damaged Hurricane Ian, so just make sure that we get a little bit more precautious, making sure all the sandbags are at our doorstep garage.
I think we're just going to put sandbags in our back porch. We're going to get like groceries later and stuff in case it's really bad.
Milton's timing could be dangerous. In some areas, the ground is already saturated from Hurricane Helene, and cleanup from that storm continues.
One of the things that we did was make sure that all disaster debris management sites that were impacted by Hurricane Helene, that they remain open 24/7 for drop-off.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, forecasters say the hurricane will likely make landfall as a Category 3 and then move west to east across Florida. This is something that meteorologist Vanna Brito has been tracking and what do we know about this hurricane this morning?
Yeah, it did just shortly make its way up to a Category 3. That's the status currently. Still expecting to gain a little bit of strength as a Category 4 storm and then make landfall probably at least a Category 3 storm off the coast of Florida. This is not going to be a similar area to what it had last week with Helene, but areas just to the south of that track, and that is forecast tomorrow. Current winds up to 120 miles per hour. So over the last about hour, that did gain speed up to 20 miles per hour, now bringing it up to 120. Temperatures here locally, though, still falling. We have fallen now, Madison and Dane County included in that, to the upper 30s. We won't see temperatures warm today. It's going to be fall-like all day, lower to mid 60s at best this afternoon, but we do have warmer days on tap. So yes, it'll be fall-like today, but then summer-like weather is going to return mid, especially late week. Winds right now are still out of the north. I do think we'll have mostly sunny skies up until lunchtime, and then some clouds are going to start working their way in. Like I mentioned, lower to mid 60s, and then we'll fall again tonight somewhere near that 40-degree mark, but skies are going to clear out, that being one of the reasons why, and we'll see cooler temperatures again. Tomorrow will be very close to 70. It's not impossible. A couple areas do top out there, but I think that's more likely that Wednesday and Thursday especially time frame. By Friday, we even could see temperatures top out very close to that 80-degree mark. The next couple of mornings, though, are still going to be cool, not quite as cool with widespread 30s compared to what we have this morning, but the lower 40s nonetheless. And then by mid to late week, that's when the 70s are going to return. I think we'll be up to 73 by Thursday, and then a couple areas potentially even topping out at 80 on Friday. The warmer weather sticks around for the first half of this upcoming weekend. We'll still be well above average with highs in the mid 70s, and then by the second half of the weekend, Sunday looking like the cooler, breezier, and I think we do have that slight shower chance Saturday into Sunday. Slight at best right now. Most areas still sticking with the drier weather.
All right, Savannah, thank you. In the 608 this morning, we have a follow-up on the State Street pedestrian mall experiment in Madison.
Josh Brider is down there this morning with what comes next. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning. We're live on State Street this morning. You can see the Flamingo right behind me. This is where the city has been asking folks to flock to State this year. It's been part of a pedestrian mall experiment, and now this is your final few weeks to be able to flock to State this year. James Langer at the city joining us this morning. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what comes next here with the pedestrian mall experiment?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, still a few weeks left of some events to kind of wrap up this pedestrian mall experiment. We'll have like the downtown trick-or-treating thing obviously at the end of October. There's also the October night market, but really as we get in the last few weeks here, what we're really wanting is to hear feedback from folks about what they liked about this experiment this summer, things that could be improved, and people can do that all online at flocktostate.com.
And this was such a big year to be able to do this, and that feedback is necessary because that's what you guys want to see moving forward, what needs to be done out here.
Exactly, yeah. Because this was an experiment, we don't know for sure if we're going to do this again next year or in the future, so that feedback will really help city staff inform the things that they put into a report that they're going to send to Common Council, and ultimately it'll be the council's decision on if we want to do this again. But that feedback is really crucial, whether it comes to, you know, what you thought about the art, what you thought about the programming, things like that. I think that's really what we're looking for in these last few weeks here.
And a big goal behind this pedestrian mall experiment was to make downtown a destination for folks.
Exactly, yeah. And I think, you know, we have some very early preliminary data that shows that probably is working. You know, the folks here, the Central Business Improvement District, they're able to kind of track how many people are down here, specifically the 400 to 600 blocks of State, and they're seeing a year-to-year increase. So it definitely feels like, even though, you know, it was really rainy in the start of the summer, late spring, plenty of people came down to flock to State, and they really seem to be enjoying the events, whether it's the Music is Madison performances, whether it's, you know, Kids on State, some of the other things, movies in Peace Park. We had a little bit of everything this summer, and I think people really appreciated that.
Well, in this area especially, this block, this is the heart of downtown, and everything is kind of surrounding this area.
Right, yeah. It was really kind of the goal again to get folks who, you know, maybe you live in the suburbs or you live live away from downtown, you may not come down to State Street all the time, especially if you've got young kids. And this was really designed to kind of help people come back down, support the local businesses, and see what State Street has to offer.
All right, so you need the feedback. A reminder again, where can people send that to?
Yeah, that online survey is at flocktostate.com. You go there, you'll see the link to give the feedback. It's just a quick form to fill out, and we appreciate any feedback folks have.
I think it's important for people to see that, hey, that feedback does matter, right?
Exactly. Like I mentioned, it's going to inform some of these decisions that city leaders are going to have to make in the coming months, and that feedback really will inform, whether we consider this a success that we continue doing, or if it's something that maybe gets tabled. So
very good. James Langer, City of Madison. James, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We also have that link up on channel3000.com this morning, including a schedule of those free events. Again, free. They're going to be happening through the end of this month, so you can check that out online, guys.
All right. I love that the public gets an opportunity to weigh in on this and to hear the city say that the comments are going to, really play a factor in what happens to the future of State Street. So here's your opportunity, folks. Thanks, Josh. We'll talk to you again here in a half an hour.
Remember to let Josh know what inspires you in the 608. You can reach out either on social media or email us at inthe608@WISC-TV.com for a chance to be featured. And still ahead, we'll have some more weather trivia, and a Wisconsin woman celebrates a remarkable birthday.
We're back right after this.
What Black voters want in our next president, tonight at 6.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit MGE2050.com.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills, and something sinister is lurking in the shadows.
What was that?
To survive, they must seal their fate.
It's not working.
With Feldco.
50% off Windows ends soon. Come now.
This fall, watch out for The Draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
I'm a nurse in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Hovde means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
Eric Hovde supported overturning Roe v. Wade, which led to an abortion ban in Wisconsin.
And that's a ban with no exceptions for rape or incest.
What Hovde supports criminalizes abortion and doctors like me.
We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Senator Baldwin claims she's doing something about the fentanyl crisis and says she got a major fentanyl bill passed. But Senator Baldwin is lying. The bill's main sponsor, Senator Tim Scott, had this to say.
As the primary sponsor, I've never had a single conversation with Cammie about this bill, period.
Career politicians like Senator Baldwin are always lying about something. Senator Baldwin, she's extreme, radical, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
Ready to embark on an exclusive journey into the lives of UW's top athletes? News 3 Now sports director Zach Hanley takes you inside Wisconsin Huddle, a one-of-a-kind 30-minute weekly special. It's more than just highlights. It's more than X's and O's. It's an inside look into the world of Big Ten college athletes, from their journey to Madison to insights on how they prepare for competition. Watch Wisconsin Huddle Friday nights at 6:30 on WISC-TV. Brought to you by TDS Telecom.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit mge2050.com.
6:24 on your Monday morning. This photo from Gwen. She says, a beautiful day out on the farm. And of course, these cows are for Chris because apparently there's a running joke that we didn't know about before we got here.
You know, when we start showing too many cow pictures, I'll kindly ask the folks at home that let's just take a break from the cows, shall we? You know, we see a lot of cows. Let's try some other animals.
Send in the cows, everyone. No, I'm kidding.
Appreciate you, Gwen.
Chickens.
Yeah, thank you. Trending this morning, a birthday we're celebrating. Check out Lily Riley. She lives in Milwaukee, and guess how old she is? She looks great. The lady in front of the cake, turning 107 years old. One of her caretakers says she's the oldest of her clients, but she is the easiest to take care of. So Lily was born back in 1937 when a loaf of bread was 9 cents. The average house was just over $4,000, and the life expectancy of a woman was 62 years old. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's incredible.
That's
Well,
right. It's weather trivia.
Yeah, it's winter and snow related. Kyrie, are you excited about that?
Absolutely. I love it.
Not the snow though, right? Yeah. Well, what is the earliest? Okay, last I asked what the trace snowfall is. This is the earliest measurable snow that has to be at least 1/10 of an inch in Madison. Those are your options.
Kyrie,
I'm going to go with C, October 3rd.
I'm going with B.
September 28th?
Yep.
October 6th.
I got
in 1964. And guys, we don't have any snow in the forecast, luckily. Could track some rain. Definitely some cooler temperatures. There's a frost advisory out there. We'll talk about where next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today. Hey there, Madison. Dina here again. If you have a plumbing emergency, you need the RHD Dream Team difference. Call us in the morning and we'll see you the same day. If it leaks, bursts, or freezes, you need the RHD Dream Team. We remedy your disaster fast. That's the Dream Team difference.
Champion's big window sale is back.
Do you have ugly, hard-to-open, drafty windows? Now is the best time to buy new Champion windows. Because when you buy 2, you get 2 free. Buy 2 Champion windows, get 2 free? I guess that means if you buy 4, you get 4 free. Buy 6, get 6 free. Buy 10, get 10 free.
Hurry, Champion's Buy 2, Get 2 free sale is for a limited time.
Great job, everybody. Thanks.
Call 888-4CHAMPION or schedule your free in-home estimate online today.
Rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. Discover Ghirardelli Caramel Squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
Look at that Wendy's breakfast burrito. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, sausage. Gotta hand it to the tortilla. That sucker's holding on for dear life. The boss of breakfast, gotta be Wendy's.
Announcing the winners of Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Readers Poll for 2024. Congratulations to Eisenberg Law Office for winning bronze for Best Law Firm, serving clients since 1983. See all the winners on MadisonMagazine.com.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Hi, I'm Sue Jenick, League of Women Voters of Dane County President. Know who you are going to vote for and why. Think about your values and what is important to you and your family. Seek out information about the candidates. On October 22nd, the League of Women Voters will publish candidates' answers outlining their beliefs and priorities for voters.
3 things to know. Part of News 3 Now's 3 Cares Community Impact.
They say the kitchen is the heart of the home, but one look at this mess proved this love affair was over. If outdated, worn, and no wow factor describes a room in your home, you need the RHD Dream Team difference. We'll be on time, on budget, and fabulous from design to installation to put the heart back into your home.
Right now, 1 year of the Israel-Hamas war. Where the situation stands this morning, plus some new polling on Israel's actions in the conflict.
Also this morning, how gambling firms are getting involved in the election. Find out what the odds say about public opinion.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. It was a great weekend to get out. And take a look at this beauty shot right here behind us. It doesn't get much better than that.
Mark Schilling and Josh Breiter downtown this morning talking about the pedestrian mall on State Street and what's going to happen with that. It's kind of an experiment. So the city's asking for some feedback. Josh will let you know how you can get in on that and make sure that your voice is heard coming up here in just a little bit.
That's right. But right now we're going to check in with meteorologist Savannah Brito. It's going to get us up to date. How's it feeling out there this morning?
It's on the chillier side for sure. We even have a frost advisory north and northwest of Dane County and the Madison area right now. That's where you'll find the coolest temperatures and possibly even some patchy frost, at least until 9 in the morning. We're 20 degrees cooler, though, at the airport than this time yesterday. 25 degrees cooler, though, in Black River Falls. 13 in Monroe. 16, though, in Janesville. Beautiful sunrise this morning overlooking downtown Madison. You just saw that also behind Chris and Kyrie on. But temperatures, they're not going to warm a whole lot from where we're sitting right now. We do have the widespread mid to even upper 30s. That does include us here at home in Madison, too, but not as cool as northwest of here, where those some areas as low as the lower 30s near freezing level this morning. Temperatures will only warm mid 60s at best. I think most of us are going to be confined to the lower 60s this afternoon, and winds are going to be on the breezier side, not comparison to last week, but still will be a little bit of a factor out there. We'll talk about the warm up that's set to take place mid to late week, though, coming up.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Developing this morning, Middleton police are searching for a suspect in a strong armed robbery.
It happened at the Amber Indian Cuisine on University Avenue on Saturday evening. Restaurant employees tell police a man entered the restaurant and took a tip container. Police say the man had on a brown hat and ski mask, a yellow long-sleeve flannel shirt, and jeans. They say the suspect told employees he had a gun when trying to stop him. However, he never displayed a weapon. If you have any information, you're asked to call Middleton Police at 608-824-7300.
Today marks 1 year of the Israel-Hamas war. Tens of thousands of people have died in that time span. And the war has left notable destruction across the Gaza Strip. A UN statement says more than 60% of structures have sustained damage. That report was in July. Humanitarian organization The Shelter Cluster estimates it'll take 40 years to rebuild all destroyed homes in Gaza.
Meanwhile, Gaza is where about 100 hostages remain. Hamas terrorists captured them in the massacre a year ago to the day. More than 1,000 people lost their lives that day. CBS's Naomi Ruckham explains where the war stands now.
The twins, in particular, Emma, was taken by herself for 10 days.
For Alana Zajcik, October 7th, 2023 was the day her world changed forever. 1 year ago, Hamas abducted 6 of her family members into Gaza, including 3 young children.
It doesn't feel real still. I think I just went into autopilot after that and decided I had to fight for them.
Alana's female cousins and their little girls were released during a hostage deal last November. But her cousin's husband, David, remains in Hamas captivity.
There's so many of us suffering, Israeli and Palestinian.
Crowds gathered at the site of the Nova Music Festival Monday in remembrance of the victims. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General says the humanitarian situation in Gaza is hanging by a thread. According to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, which does not differentiate between civilian and militant deaths, more than 41,000 Palestinians have died in the conflict, with millions more displaced. Now new fears of an all-out war. Israel launched a ground operation in southern Lebanon after strikes took out top Hamas and Hezbollah commanders there. Israel has also vowed to respond after Iran unsuccessfully targeted the country with hundreds of missiles last week.
Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided? It has to be. We really have to avoid it.
Still, a year later, Alana holds out hope for the hostages.
I'm never going back to a world of the status quo where my family could be harmed again.
And for humanity. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
And later today, President Biden and the First Lady will host a candle lighting ceremony to mark 1 year since the October 7th attack. Last week, the Biden administration said they were sending a few thousand additional U.S. troops to the Middle East in hopes of deterring a broader conflict there.
Now, the anniversary of the war comes, of course, just about a month before the U.S. election. We wanted to show you these poll numbers. They're from Pew Research surveys last December and then one just a month ago. Researchers were asking participants their thoughts on Israel's military operation against Hamas. You can see the approval ratings are down. In December, 16% said the operation was not going far enough. Now only 12% feel that way. There's a similar shift in the other direction for those who say it's going too far. That number went from 27% to 31% in that same time frame.
Polling is not the only source of numbers this election season. Gambling firms are releasing their odds for the presidential election. While sports betting has taken off in the U.S., the legality of political betting is in limbo. Like with polling, there is a lot to be gathered from questions and odds. Two UW-Madison professors joined us on For the Record to explain.
The way that these bets are set up reflect kind of a broader mood of the electorate, but also when they're bets about specific issues, say when it comes to presidential debates, they're going to really reflect issues that citizens are concerned about or that are coming up.
You can watch the rest of the conversation and the full broadcast of For the Record on channel3000.com. And if you or someone you love are struggling with a gambling problem, local help is available. The Wisconsin Council on Problem Gambling provides support. Their website is wiproblemgamblers.org.
6:36, the Packers finally have their first win of the season with Jordan Love. It came on the road against the Rams. First half, really a grind for both teams. The Packers trailed 13-10 in the third. Green Bay's D, though, starting to turn things around. Forced to fumble here. Xavier McKinney recovers, takes it a few yards. What a season he is having so far. A couple plays later, Jordan Love drops back. He's going to launch one down the field to find Tucker Kraft, who's going to pound a couple of stiff arms there and make his way into the end zone. That's a 66-yard score. Packers now in front. Next drive. Matthew Stafford with the ball, dropping back in the shotgun. That is dangerous. Nervous for Packers fans there. But Xavier McKinney comes up with the interception again. His fifth of the season and fifth as a Packer. That sets an NFL record for only person to ever do that in the first 5 games with a new team. And then Tucker Kraft is going to get into the end zone one more time. Here is the head coach after the game on the win. And what do you think about Tucker Kraft?
He works nonstop. He's relentless, and he's got a great mindset. And the guy, that's all he does. He just shows up. He works. He gets better. It's been really cool to see him blossom. I think the more confidence he's gotten, the better he's done. He's just a tough-minded dude, and it's been really cool to watch a guy and see the growth and development.
Packers fans feeling the same way. Kraft, just a football player. Packers are now 3-2 on the season, but they're sitting in last place in the conference right now. Everybody else is everybody else is pulling out wins. Like the Bears, come on, like the Bears picking up wins, Packers in last place. It feels kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it'd be the complete opposite. I know Savannah may say differently, but the Bears pulling out that win, though. Ooh.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Next week, the Packers host the 2-3 Arizona Cardinals.
All right. Now, Savannah, let's check in with you.
It's definitely a cooler start out there this morning. Got the Navy on this morning after the Bears win last night. Hopefully we can pull that out in London next weekend. We'll talk about the temperature change and pattern we're going to see here coming up.
And
oh, hey guys, didn't see you there. Just hanging out with Mr. Flamingo here on State Street on a Monday morning. We're talking about Flock the State coming to an end this month, but there's a chance for you to give your feedback for what comes next. That's coming up next in the 608.
Stanton Optical believes eye care should be affordable. Right now, for only $135, you get 2 pairs of progressives, plus all this. All that costs over $200 everywhere else. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing. Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
It's a great time to have RG Heating and Air Conditioning check your home's furnace system for safety and efficiency. RG services all brands and installs quality Trane equipment to keep your home running smooth year-round. Call RG Heating and AC today.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member. Ramos was arrested for a gun crime, but as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
My name is Jack Frank. I'm a retired paper mill worker in the valley here, and I work for Copeland Bus part-time on the side. I've had my own route now here for the last 3-4 years, and the kids on it are great. Flexible hours, they work with you in many different ways. If you've got something going, they accommodate you, or they try to get somebody to run your road. Copeland treats you decent. You know, all the years I worked here. It's a great place to work.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Senator Baldwin claims she's doing something about the fentanyl crisis and says she got a major fentanyl bill passed. But Senator Baldwin is lying. The bill's main sponsor, Senator Tim Scott, had this to say.
As the primary sponsor, I've never had a single conversation with Cammie about this bill, period.
Career politicians like Senator Baldwin are always lying about something. Senator Baldwin, she's extreme, radical, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
6:42 on your Monday. More help is on the way to storm-ravaged North Carolina. The Transportation Department says it's sending $100 million in emergency funds. It's to fix roads and bridges damaged in the hurricane. Secretary Pete Buttigieg called the emergency aid an initial round of funding. He said the goal is to get roads repaired and opened quickly. The money comes from the Federal Highway Administration's Emergency Relief Program.
Let's check in now with Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warn weather. Good morning.
Good morning. It's cool outside. Most temperatures across southern Wisconsin have actually fallen in the mid to even upper 30s. A couple areas are closer to freezing level, which is 32. That's why patchy frost is possible this morning. There are counties that are included in a frost advisory. We'll have that in a second. The dry pattern's going to continue. Yes, it's cool. It'll be fall-like today, but there's 80s or at least near 80s 60s in the forecast as early as Friday. So Madison and Dane County not included in this frost advisory. That runs until 9 a.m. this morning, but Wisconsin Dells, Lone Rock, Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, mainly north and northwest of Madison, that's where the coolest weather is, and that's where the frost advisory is included this morning. But we have fallen to 39 so far this morning across the Madison area under clear skies. Yes, we'll see lots of sunshine, but temperatures are not going to warm up that much this afternoon. 10 a.m. 53, by lunchtime 60. I think we'll top out lower to mid 60s at best this afternoon. So it's actually going to be near normal. The cooler air, though, that has actually not played a role on the fall color. In fact, Richland County is the only one reporting patchy color. The rest of southern Wisconsin little. So that warm air that we've been seeing for the last several weeks, well above average temperatures, that has played a major role on why we're not seeing really any color at all, at least across southern Wisconsin. Northern Wisconsin, they're near peak, even peak for Marionette County up there northeast of where we're sitting. I think we still have to wait at least another week or two. We're looking at mid to late October for that peak color across southern Wisconsin. It's not going to be very windy this afternoon, but winds will be a little bit of a factor. Not nearly as big of a factor compared to last week when we had wind gusts up to about 30, 35, even 40 miles per hour. We're looking at about 15, maybe close to 20 miles per hour, Madison east and also north. That's this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, where winds will be a small factor out there. Temperatures, though, will warm as early as tomorrow, back close to 70. Same with Wednesday. By Thursday, we'll be in the lower 70s and then could make a run for 80 degrees on Friday. Looks warm, at least for the first half of this weekend, 75, and then we're down to 69 on Sunday. Not a bad looking forecast again this weekend.
Not too shabby at all. Thank you, Savannah. In the 608 this morning, we have a follow-up on the State Street Pedestrian Mall experiment in Madison.
That's where we find our Josh Brighter live this morning with what comes next. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, chilly morning here on State Street, but we have a beautiful backdrop, of course. This is the heart of downtown, and that's been the goal behind Flock to State. And now we're learning what's going to happen moving forward this morning. James Langer at the City of Madison is joining us. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So this has been such a fun project for the city, and now you're kind of in your final few weeks, but you're asking people for feedback this morning.
Yeah, there's still some events planned through October through the Central Business Improvement District. We're here at Peace Park, where a lot of those things take place. There's the Madison Night Market still coming up in October and the downtown trick or treat. But as we kind of go through these last few weeks, we're really asking people to go to flocktostate.com and fill out that feedback survey that's linked on that page, because really we want to know what people thought about the State Street pedestrian experiment, because this was an experiment, and really the feedback will really inform, you know, what things we do differently if we even do this again.
Yeah, you call it an experiment because that's what it was, and now you're looking for that feedback. So what sorts of things can people, you know, talk about in their feedback?
Yeah, they can talk about the events, the programming that the Central Business Improvement District really helped put together, whether it was the Madison is Music performances, whether it's, you know, Kids on State, those kid-friendly events that we did. You know, you can share what you thought about those specific events, maybe events you'd like to see in the future, what you thought about the artwork. We've got flamingos here that you were making friends with earlier, and the street painting, you know. So there's some feedback that we got already that on that front, you know, people saying maybe, you know, try something different with the painting, use different materials. And if this becomes a permanent thing going forward, that's definitely something city staff will look at.
And this has been such a big goal for the city, is to make the heart of downtown a destination once again, getting people down here to support local businesses.
Exactly, yeah, that's sort of the entire idea. Is if it's been a few years since you've come down to State Street, we really wanted to make this a place, and you know, the idea of place making, right, by putting these, you know, congregate areas around and having the events to come down here as well, and really just experience what State Street is and support those local businesses, like you said.
And I love those events too are free, so all the families can come down here and really enjoy that and kind of spin away from here.
Exactly, yeah. You know, it's tough to find things to do with the entire family sometimes, and especially things that are you know, affordable. And like you said, these events are all free. There's still some coming up in October, so flocktostate.com, in addition to that feedback survey, has the list of events for October, so you can kind of plan your weekends around that as well.
Yeah, it'll be kind of fun to see what happens next.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, James, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. We also have those links up on channel3000.com so you can give your feedback and also check out that schedule of events coming up here for later October. Still a lot happening downtown, guys, especially with this nice weather. You can get out and enjoy it, although it is a little chilly out here this morning. Had to have the extra layer on, Chris and Kyron, so be happy you're in the studio.
Yes, I hope you didn't wear sandals like Savannah did this morning, though. Hope your feet are covered up. All right, Josh, thank you.
Yeah, it's...
Whoop.
Uh-oh.
Sorry there, buddy. Remember, Josh is always looking for inspiration to share in the 608. You have an idea for him? Reach out on social media or email him. Hey, we here at News 3 want to thank everybody who donated to Coats for Kids this year. The folks at Clinky Cleaners and the Boys and Girls Club are still counting up the total, but as of Friday, we had 2,363 coats. That's before the final couple days, though, so we'll announce the grand total as soon as we have it, so stay tuned. Thanks again to everybody who participated.
That's right, and our goal for this was 5,000 coats, so I'm excited to see where that number is.
I know, somehow, you know, in past years we've pulled it off where we've reached the goal when we had a long way to go in the final stretch. And we'll see if the community came through again this year.
I think we're going to exceed the goal. We had a couple of big donations, and I think I just can't wait to see the numbers. So we'll have those real soon. Not sure when, but hopefully soon. But coming up in the morning sprint, what conditions a retina scan could help spot.
If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture, would you? We'll show it on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Why pay more for the same weights at other gyms when you can save tons at Planet Fitness? Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness, Strong Choice.
I'm a nurse in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Hovde means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
Eric Hovde supported overturning Roe v. Wade, which led to an abortion ban in Wisconsin.
And that's a ban with no exceptions for rape or incest.
What Hovde supports criminalizes abortion and doctors like me.
We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. This fall, watch out for The Draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Shop the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. Lease a new Silverado 1500 starting at $355 a month, or a 24 Equinox EV starting at $299 a month. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromMadison.com.
My loves.
Sometimes it takes a different approach to see the possibilities all around you.
How are the girls?
They're amazing, Dad.
As a Capella University nurse practitioner student, you'll learn the advanced skills you need to face the nursing challenges of today and tomorrow. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University.
Peter Barca dishonored our service and America's commitment to veterans.
And Congress, Barca voted to cut our benefits, impacting our lives, our families. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
Veterans can't trust career politicians like Peter Barca, and neither can you.
Brian Stile will always work to protect veterans like me.
Brian is not a career politician, he's a fighter, and he's always working for us.
I'm Brian Stile, and I approve this message.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record. expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Why pay more for the same weights at other gyms when you can save tons at Planet Fitness? Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Strong choice.
You just have to get on the yellow seat. Think Sloan's first.
6:53, time for the morning sprint.
In a developing story this morning, Middleton police are searching for a suspect in a strong armed robbery. It happened at the Amber Indian Cuisine on University Avenue Saturday evening. Restaurant employees tell police a man entered the restaurant and took a tip container. He told employees he had a gun and left. If you have information, you're asked to call Middleton police.
Today marks 1 year since Hamas attacked Israel. The massacre killed about 1,200 people and set off the war in Gaza. The terror group also took about 250 hostages. 1 year later, the war continues and tens of thousands are dead. New hostilities between Israel and its eastern neighbors are now threatening further destabilization in the region.
Minnesota's First Lady Gwen Walz is scheduled to visit Wisconsin. The wife of vice presidential nominee Tim Walz will travel to Madison and Beloit on Wednesday. She's expected to speak on abortion rights and taxes. The campaign has not announced exact locations. This comes after former President Donald Trump spoke in Juneau yesterday.
October 17th will mark the 10th anniversary of the national Imagine a Day Without Water campaign. Clean Lakes Alliance launching a $25,000 fundraising campaign to celebrate. It's meant to restore our lakes, including the Yahara watershed. Clean Lakes Alliance asking for some public donations. If you'd like to contribute, just log on to cleanlakesalliance.org/imagine.
If you travel north to hunt, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources needs your help. They say PFAS are building up in white-tailed deer near the town of Stella in Oneida County. The DNR needs deer tissue samples from those who hunted deer this year within 3 miles of the town of Stella. Visit dnr.wisconsin.gov for more information about donating deer samples.
Days after Hurricane Helene, people in the southeast are once again bracing for another storm. Forecasters now predicting Hurricane Milton will make landfall on Wednesday. It was just upgraded to a Category 3 storm. Officials are issuing evacuation orders. The National Hurricane Center warns that flooding could threaten millions. It is making a beeline for Orlando this morning. It comes as crews are still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene.
The human eye could communicate heart health. A study from the University of Pennsylvania finds retina scans analyzed by artificial intelligence can detect elevated HbA1c. It's an important biomarker for cardiovascular health. Researchers say the technology could boost early detection and manage chronic cardiovascular conditions like diabetes.
Camp Randall is set to host another concert, this time Coldplay. They'll perform there sometime next year. It's part of the band's Music of the Spheres World Tour. The announcement comes from UW Athletics on social media. It'll be Camp Randall's first concert since October of 1997 when the Rolling Stones were in town on their Bridges to Babylon tour.
We do have widespread mids upper 30s out there. We will stay fall-like all day today. That's not going to be the case through the rest of the week. 79 by Friday. Good weekend overall. Bears play in London. How about them Bears? Good game yesterday.
Just rubbing the luck. Just getting lucky. Just getting lucky.
Thanks. We'll be back in 30 minutes.